Good evening and welcome to the 8 o'clock English news from the Sultan of Oman television. First, the headlines. The State Council discusses the social protection draft law today. The Sudanese Armed Forces and Rapid Support Forces agree on a 24-hour ceasefire. And the Russian army intensifies its attacks on Bakhmut, and the Russian President Vladimir Putin visits military sites in Kherson. Those are the headlines, and now the news in detail. The State Council discussed today the draft social protection law during the 9th session of the 4th annual sitting of the 7th term. The session discussed articles of the draft law. The members of the Council proposed their remarks and gave some presentation in a bid to achieve a comprehensive social protection system that fits the economic development plans in the Sultanate of Oman. The Council's Economic Committee highlighted the regulatory and supervisory framework of the social protection law. The committee pointed out that the draft social protection law comes within the framework of establishing grounds for a social protection system. The draft law includes several social benefits based on the concept of comprehensive coverage. The meeting was held under the chairmanship of Sheikh Abdul Malik bin Abdullah Al-Khalili, chairman of the State Council. Members of the Sudanese Armed Forces have given contradictory information about possible 24-hour ceasefire with the Rapid Support Forces. The two forces have been battling the supremacy since Saturday. Fighting in Sudan has killed at least 185 people and injured more than 1,800 others as both sides claimed gains. A conflict that has been the use of airstrikes and artillery. Clashes have continued despite numerous calls from the United States and other countries for a halt to fighting, as well as Arab efforts to get the rivals to agree to a ceasefire. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said today a U.S. diplomatic convoy came under fire yesterday in Sudan and by fighters associated with Sudan's paramilitary Rapid Support Forces in an incident he described as reckless and irresponsible. China today lashed out at a joint statement issued by foreign ministers of the group of 7 countries, calling on Beijing to cease threats, compulsion and intimidation in dealing with other countries. The communique was released today following the 3-day gathering of top diplomats from the group of 7 wealthy democracies, during which they vowed a tough stance on China's increasing threats to Taiwan, accusing the countries of interfering in China's internal affairs. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Wang Wenbin called the system full of arrogance, prejudice and sinister intentions against China. The statement also touched on China's reported human rights abuses in far western Xinjiang and Tibet and its expansive maritime claims in the South China Sea. Saudi Arabia's top diplomat arrived in Damascus on the first visit by Saudi official since the start of Syrian conflict in 2011. Syria's Information Minister said in a statement that Saudi Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan has arrived in Damascus today on an official visit to Syria. The visit comes less than a week after Syrian Foreign Minister Faisal Mekdad visited Saudi Arabia, also on a first such visit since the start of the Syrian conflict. Earlier, Mekdad and his Saudi counterpart discussed in Saudi Arabia the necessary steps to end Damascus' isolation. Russian President Vladimir Putin met his commanders in 2 regions of Ukraine that Moscow claims to have annexed, while Russian forces stepped up artillery bombardment and airstrikes on the devastated eastern Ukrainian city of Bakhmut. The Russian artillery attacks killed one person and injured nine more in the city of Kherson in southern Ukraine today, according to officials who added a market in the city center had been hit. Still to come, a news bulletin. The Sultan of Oman marks the World Heritage Day. Welcome back to the news. Back here in the Sultan, the Municipal Council of Dakhiliya Governorate held its fourth meeting of this year. The council discussed developing the wilayas in the governorate, establishing sustainable social projects in line with Oman Vision 2040, maintaining and beautifying bridges, streets and public squares, and activating the roles of society and the media in combating the use of drugs. The meeting also reviewed statement of the Director General of Health Services in Al-Dakhiliya Governorate regarding the shortage of medical cadres in hospitals and health centers in the Governorate and the date of operation of the two dialysis units in the wilayas of Bahla and Adam. The Municipal Council also discussed the impacts of hereditary blood diseases on social society and the importance of activating the national project of marital counseling. The meeting was chaired by His Excellency Sheikh Hilal bin Saeed Al-Hajri, Chairman of Al-Dakhiliya. Various agreements were signed between Oman Telecommunications Company Omantel and business owners for archiving some services of the company. More details in the following report.
To keep pace with the rapid changes in the business environment within the Sultanate of Oman, also to enable the private sector institutions and individual companies to contribute in the advancement of economic growth, Omantel signed different agreements to award contracts for archiving documents and archive services with a number of self-employed pioneers.
Today here we are celebrating this signing event and ceremony, which comes part of the continuous initiatives of Omantel strategic sourcing and procurement team. And this also is aligned with the government initiatives to encourage the SMEs and the Omanis who are running their private businesses or are self-employed.
The agreements aim to support business owners by awarding contracts for archiving documents and archive services for Omantel, in addition to raising the value allocated for products and services which enrich local content, build capacities of local suppliers and service providers, and cultivate a culture of research, development and innovation.
Well, when it comes to our initiatives in the local content and the in-country value, that's a continuous quest for us as Oman Telecommunication Company. And we continue our best efforts to meet all the objectives of the government in this area. And I would like to be specific here, even when it comes to our sector on its own as the telecommunication and ICT sector in general. We are also aiming our best here to collaborate more with the local content and to contribute towards the in-country value.
Those agreements come to take advantage of the vast experiences that national cadres are capable of, as well as to promote self-employment as one of the career paths that attract interest of specialists and job seekers alike, due to the available opportunities offered within self-employment to increase the income of individuals. For Oman TV, Ahmed bin Hilal al-Busaidi, Muscat.
The total value of government treasury bills allocated for this week amounted to 42 million Oman Riyals. The value of the bills allocated for maturity period of 28 days amounted to 4 million Oman Riyals, while the value of the bills allocated for a maturity of 91 days amounted to 98 million Oman Riyals. And to mark the World Heritage Day, the Ministry of Heritage and Tourism held a celebration at the Visitor Center of Bisya and Salut archaeological site in the Wilaya of Bahla in Al-Dakhiliya Governorate. More details in the following report.
Within its constant keenness on the remarkable archaeological sites and historical landmarks, and stemming from its belief in the importance of preserving cultural heritage and spreading it, the Sultanate of Oman, represented by the Ministry of Heritage and Tourism, celebrated World Heritage Day, which falls on the 18th of April every year.
The Ministry of Heritage and Tourism efforts in protecting and preserving the cultural and historical landmarks in the country in order to prepare these sites for optimal utilization as an important tourism product. Besides that, the Ministry of Heritage and Tourism coordinate internationally with the international organizations such as the UNESCO in order to maintain the managing of the World Heritage Sites. One of the examples for these efforts is last month the ministry has conducted a workshop in coordination with the UNESCO in order to document Bahla Oasis as a first World Heritage Site has been documented in the Arab region.
The celebration was held at the Bisya and Salut Visitor Center in the Wilaya of Bahla to give the wider community and school students in particular a chance to explore the depth of the Omani contribution to the march of human civilization since the dawn of history.
Today, the Ministry of Heritage and Tourism celebrating the World Heritage Day, and also to make sure and spread the awareness of the importance of the heritage as it is very important to our identity as Omanis. Today, in the Visitor Center of Bisya and Salut, conducting an event involving some different parties like the local schools and some of the departments of the ministry, like the restoration department. To involve as many as people as we can. That's why we will continue after Eid al-Fitr for this event.
Until the end of 2022, the Ministry of Heritage and Tourism registered more than 3,000 archaeological sites, restored more than 300 historical and archaeological sites in all governorates, and recorded 5 sites in the World Heritage List and 7 sites in the preliminary list. Marking World Heritage Day is an opportunity to appreciate the historical values of the various sites and monuments across the country and safeguard them for socio-economic growth and prosperity. From Bisya and Salut Visitor Center in the Wilaya of Bahla, Salih Abu Khalfan al-Rahbi, Al-Dakhiliya Governorate.
You're watching the Sultan of Oman television. Before tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The States Council discussed today the Social Protection Draft Law. The Sudanese Armed Forces and the Rapid Support Forces agree on a 24-hour ceasefire. And the Russian army intensifies its annual attacks on Bakhmut, and the Russian President Vladimir Putin visits military sites in Kherson. And with that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin from OCN Newsroom and the studio. Good night.